All right, good people. All right. It's time for us to start on this subject that a lot of people have been asking me to do, and I'm finally getting around to do it. How to start your own business. Basically, not how to start it, because I think, well, everybody knows how to start it, but this will be the basis from start to finish. It will probably be a few parts of this because this is going to be long, but this is how to successfully start your own business, become your own boss, and work for yourself, as I own several businesses. So this is my field of expertise, and I also do consulting for multi-million-dollar companies. So I am good at what I do. So let's get into it real quick. First of all, a lot of people, the first mistake they make in starting a business is they try to do something everybody else is doing. Like at one point, it was real popular for everybody to own a detail shop. You don't want to do something that everyone else is doing and they think is a good idea, because if everyone thought it was a good idea, all those people have now become your competition. You will overflood the market with the same service. So you don't ever want to, just because you see someone else doing it, do it that way. What you need to look for and find out, what you're trying to find out is in your area, you're providing some type of service with a business. I tell people this all the time. That's all a business is. I don't care what it is. I own a record label. A record label is a service. We make music not for us that we want to hear. We make music that people want to hear. That's why we call it a service. So whatever the business is, it's still a service. I don't care what you're doing, whether you're a nurse, you're providing a service to patients, whether you're selling clothes, you're providing service to your customers. It's a service. So think of it like that. So what you're looking for is a need in whatever area that you're in, that you're trying to service. You're looking for whatever that area needs that is not something that is a bunch of people providing the same service. So you're looking for a need in that area that is not something that is generally easy to find in that area. That is always the basis of a business 101, supply and demand. So you're looking for the greatest demand in your area, whatever it is. It don't matter what it is. Now, the key component in opening a business is this. A lot of people think you're supposed to have an expertise in the business. No, you don't. You don't have to. You just need to have the mindset of running a business. Profit, loss. You definitely got to be computer literate. You really don't want to hire everybody to do everything. You need to have some knowledge in it. So if you know you don't have the knowledge in any of these things I just said, whether it's technology, profit and loss, how to actually do a lot of the paperwork and things yourself. If you're not that type of person, I hate to say it, but you might not be the kind of person that's supposed to run a business. You know what I mean? So if you're not that kind of person, but you have the funds to do it, that means you need to hire that kind of person, right? So that's a whole nother subject. That means you need to learn how to actually, find that type of person and what it would take to find that type of person. So you're going to have to research and study that. Like everything you do before you actually start the business is a bunch of research. Like what I was just talking about, starting the business, finding something in the area that they actually need, a demand, research. That's research. You're going to have to figure out what that is. It can be anything, daycare, janitorial service, anything. They don't have a store that sells a certain product in an area. They don't have a high, end store that sells like Chanel, things like that. They don't have a low end store that sells cheap clothes, whatever the service is, you just have to figure out what it is. They don't have delivery service in that area or something. Whatever it is, it's something that needs to be done in that area. Like a lot of areas, a field to go in that a lot of people don't even think about is house cleaning. It's like a lot of people are busy. They don't really want to clean their own house. So that is like a lucrative thing right now. That's almost everywhere, that there's a lot of well-to-do people that need somebody to simply come in and do their house. Okay. So we start the business. Like you research, you find out whatever you want to do. We're going to say house cleaning for an example, since it's something lucrative. You research how to do everything in that business. And when I say everything, before you ever step a foot and try to start it, You want to know how to provide estimates to the customer, how to get the customer to be contractually obligated to you. Because here's what you want. You don't want one-time customers. You want repeat customers to constantly have to come back and deal with you. So once again, you need to brush up on your customer service. If you're not the kind of person that's good at dealing with customers, you need to hire a person that is. So all of this is things that you need to research and do. What is the cost? Because here's the other deal you got to come up with. You have to come up with a business plan. And it's not hard to do. There's actually a lot of templates that will help you come up with a business plan. And the reason I say come up with a business plan, because you need to follow it. It's not just to get loans, which, people that get loans will ask for that. It's for you to follow. You need to write down a plan and loans that you would need, how much money you would need, how would you pay it back, how much money you're then planning on making a month, how long would it take it to get to that money. So you always start off low because it takes time to build the business. So you need to have a plan written down that's saying, I'm doing it exactly this way. So you can also tell when the plan's not going right that you can deter and change the plan to do something differently. Now, you've researched, you've done all that, you've got your plan down. You also can use that exact same plan to get a loan. Now, for people that don't know, they think it's hard to get business loans. Not really. Not for small business, it's not. It's easy to get loans, true enough, if you're not necessarily if you're a minority or nothing, but you do need to have a decent credit score. Now, what's a decent credit score? Let's say 650. That's pretty average. The bank, you have to understand how banks work. Banks are not giving you a loan that much on your credit for a small business loan. They give you the loan on a good plan and the same things I just told you. If they know it's a need in that area, and it's a lucrative, they're going to compare to other businesses already doing it. So if it's a need in that area, the other businesses that in that area should actually be doing good business and making money. So the bank is looking at all that. They're not giving you the loan based on your credit score as much as they're giving you the loan on most businesses in that area that do whatever you're trying to do are successful. That's why you need to pick something that's a high demand because you'll start off real fast. So now you can take that business plan, you can take it to the bank to get a loan. Now, what you also should have been researching before you went into all this is, are there such things as grants for the business that you're going in? If it is, get all the grants you can, because grants is free money that you ain't got to pay back, which is always a good thing. Business loans are also a good thing, too. You want to get small business loan, and there's all these different federal funded programs is what you're looking for that would give you a really low interest rate. They give you a really low interest rate, and they give you either long-term loans that it takes a long time to pay them back. You don't have to take that loan. It might be 10 years, so the loan amount could be low, and there's also a delay in when you start to paying. So small business loans, some of them, you may not have to even start paying it for a whole year. They're giving you time to build your business so that you can make money and have a cushion to keep making money. So all of these things I'm telling you are all things that I've done at one point and they work successfully, but you have to have an actual business plan. Once again, if you're not the kind of person that have a business mind and can do all these things that I'm saying, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time. Now, like I said, you can hire someone to do this stuff, but I would suggest that because you just started a new business. You're trying anyway. So you don't want to spend a lot of money to start a new business. So a lot of things you're going to have to start doing it yourself at first, so you need to learn. Not to mention, it doesn't hurt to learn it anyway for the simple fact that that's how you can tell somebody messing over you. You need to learn your business in and out. You can't just hire someone in a lot of this. You need to understand what's happening. Like it's tax codes involved, payroll taxes you have to pay, taxes to the state, the federal government that has to be paid every month. It's a lot to it. So this is what I tell everybody. When I start a new business, my plan might take 2 years to get it together. And that's just the truth. For me to research it, especially if it's something I'm not already familiar with. At this point, honestly, I've done enough different things that I'm not scared to start a business doing anything. It doesn't matter if I knew nothing about it. I will take the time to learn it. And then, of course, the other thing I'm going to always do is find someone in my research that actually has done whatever it is that I'm trying to do so I can learn the ins and outs of it, what's good, what's bad, what doesn't work out, what's probably not going to work out. So because these people are valuable resources because they've already made a lot of the mistakes that will keep you from making the same mistakes. So you have to find someone that's that person in your research. Now, if you're really good and your business acclimated anyway, you're just a business like person, your research is not going to take that long. It's not going to take 2 years, but at least 10 months, I'm thinking, just to get everything together to make it work where it doesn't have a problem. Like for example, no business is 100% guaranteed. But once you get the swing of it and you learn what to look for and things to try to pay attention to, it's going to get to a point where it's not 100%. But even when it does go a little wrong, you can correct it way before it gets out of hand. And that's going to come with experience of doing different things and trying it. The biggest thing in business that people, they're reluctant to do it is fear. So what eliminates the fear is knowledge. You have to read and learn about whatever you're trying to do. You can't just jump in. I've seen it a billion times. People jump in, tell a friend, oh, so-and-so did this and it was so great. And then they tried and completely failed. And it's because so-and-so probably didn't give you all the details or whatever it is. Or they just lying, because I don't understand why, but a lot of people lie about things they've done and saying they've done something. Like, my track record is easily researched about the things I've done and accomplished in my life. So a lot of it is just, I tell everybody these same two things. You can learn how to have sort of a business mind, to be able to see good deals and deals that's not that great, and to learn how to do something lucrative. You can learn it, but a lot of people are just born with it. It's just who they are as a person. But you can learn it too. There are plenty of books that you can read on these subjects, and they're easily researched. And when I tell people to read these books and just find them, make sure you research who wrote the book. Whoever wrote the book that you're trying to find this information on needs to have actually done successfully whatever you're trying to do. Don't get a book that is just a random author. You need someone you can research and find out they actually successfully own these businesses and did something. And they're telling the truth most of the time. It's something that you might have to make a couple of changes to fit into what you're trying to do. But for the most part, it's real knowledge. It's real stuff that they're telling you. And they will help you avoid making a lot of mistakes. But, all right, we've researched. We found the person that we want to talk to. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The person that you want to talk to, if they're really good at the knowledge part of all these things that you would need to know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you probably need to keep in contact with that person, because you need to talk to them through the whole process. And if they're that good, you may want to hire them later on as like a supervisor or an advisor or something. And when you're doing all this research and advisor stuff, once you start the business, they usually give you a back trail. You got about 3 months to go backwards that you can claim all this stuff as an expense, to go towards your taxes. So everything, even the person, if you had to give them a couple of dollars for the research or ask them questions, or you had to travel to go to those places, once you start doing your research, you need to keep records of everything, every dollar that you spent, every piece of paper that you bought, because all this would help you pay your taxes later. And I'm telling you now, if you are really successful at it, you will make a lot of money real fast. And if you don't have enough stuff to claim, you're going to owe a lot of taxes at the end. Because if you've never owned a business before, most of your customers that pay you are paying you off your invoice. There's no taxes taken out like working a job. So you're responsible for paying all those taxes. So a way that you need to figure out how to pay all your taxes is to claim a lot of expenses. And, stuff you need. And I'm saying, like, it's expensive to run a business, but one of the first things I've learned in consulting, a lot of people don't know exactly what they can claim. That comes from when I said research what you're supposed to do and read. A lot of people hire CPAs. I say once the business gets super big, maybe, but you need to learn tax code, what you can claim, what percentage of it will come back in your taxes. You need to learn that stuff. Once again, because once your business gets to a point that you got to hire a lot of people, if you don't know what you're looking at, you're real easy to steal from. So I suggest everyone learns it. It seems like it's hard, but not really. You just need to have the patience to sit down, read, and learn it, period. And if you lack that, honestly, you probably don't need to own a business. That's just the truth. I mean, I know that's harsh, but yeah. If you're not the kind to sit down and read and pay attention and actually take the time to learn something for something you want to do, you probably don't even need to try it, because it's a lot of that. You can't just successfully run a business and don't put your hands in it at all. Those are the people that fail. The only way you would know that something's going wrong, that you need to change plans in some type of way, is to actually be involved in the actual process of the business. So we have researched, we have submitted loan applications. We know what we're going to do and we know where we're going to be. So now comes the time when you go to the banks and you ask for it. Now, what you do is look for SBA and wherever you stay at. SBA stands for Small Business Association, and they usually have a list of all these banks that actually loan to small businesses. Now, on that list, everyone's probably not going to tell you yes, but somebody's definitely going to tell you yes. So it may not necessarily be a bank near you. Now, in my case, I never go to the banks. I haven't seen inside of a bank in so long because I have several businesses. But nowadays, it's not really necessary. If a bank really knows you came up with a good idea, I promise you they'll come to you. When it's time to like do paperwork or sign paper, something like that, they will come to you. You're not going to have to go to them. I don't care. Like the last bank I dealt with, it's like 300 miles away from me, but they drove to me for me to do the paperwork to close on that loan. So that's something I wouldn't worry about that much, about where the bank is exactly. Because believe me, if it's lucrative to deal with you, they're coming. But all that is from you making a really great business plan. And if you're not good at that kind of thing, yeah, you need to definitely get some help. They also have people in the SBA associations in your area. A lot of people don't know. There's a lot of people that can help you. They'll help you write your business plan. They'll help you find the right loan. They help you. They have all these organizations in every area, in every city, that there is an organization that helps you do that. I've been doing it long enough that I don't use them anymore. But when I first started, my first one, I did use them to do that. They're a good source to research with as well. Every SBA association that you can figure out probably what your notes going to be, what you can and can't do, what you can start with, the guidelines toward writing out the business plan versus using some of the forms on how much money you're going to spend to start writing a business plan or get the template. They're also a good source for that. But you have to follow these steps exactly as I said. Now, if you pay attention to everything I've told you, we haven't even got to the point of actually forming the business yet. We're going to do that later. All this is research and things that need to happen before you even think about, I'm going to make a business name. I'm going to start it, the corporation or whatever it is you want to call it, and give me a tax ID number. We're way before that. That's why I said, like, if you're really doing it the right way, it should take you a year just to get everything together and your plan before you ever step a foot into even thinking about getting tax IDs or EINs and starting a business, making a business name and forming and all that. You still in the stages of research and just getting everything together. Remember, I said when you do this part, this is what avoids a lot of the mistakes because you're literally just following the plan. So once you've done all that and you've gone to the bank and you find the bank you're about to use and everything, now it's time to go form the business, come up with a business name, whatever you want to name it, getting your EIN. And your EIN is like your tax ID for the business, or your like layman's term social security number for your business. It's so they can ID you when you pay, your federal taxes, your state taxes, everything. Everything is done through those numbers. Now, when you register the business, now you want to go to the bank because they're going to ask you all the information about that you just started the business. And you're going to fill out all this information. And it's okay to say you haven't made any money yet. Now, it affects the loan somewhat, but it's okay to say it hasn't started. You zero. You haven't made any money yet, and you're trying to get it going. But you have to have a dynamic business plan to pull that off. And you get your loan. You go do whatever you got to do, whether it's buy the building, equipment, cars, whatever. They give you the loan to do all that. And after that, all you're doing is following your plan. Getting your customers. And that's another thing. It depends on what your business is. I suggest you already have customers. You know, you are whatever you're finna do, whether it's finna be inventory you're about to get and you need to buy, all that should have been done during the research. Anything that customers you have, a few of them that you're finna deal with from day one, or somebody on the back burner that you know is going to give you business, you need to already have some of them from day one. And then after that, you can go out and get more. And also, it just depends on what you're doing. Somebody needs to be involved that's a salesman. And what I mean by a salesman, they need to be the kind of person that know how to smooth people. If you're not that kind of a skill set person, you need to find somebody else. But I do suggest you learn how to be that person. You want to look professional. You want to talk professional. You want to be able to be the kind of person that be like you talking them into doing something you want them to do. That is a skill set. So, because you got to deal with people that's never met you before and actually talk to them to get them to buy or do or come do business with you. You have to be that kind of person. And if you're not, it's okay. But you need to actually find that person before you start the business as well. Whoever that person is going to be. And if you find in that person, they need to have a history of being that kind of person. And every business, I don't care, they call it different things, procurement officers, salesmen, has a salesman. I don't care what it is. There's a person like that. If you selling a product, there's someone dealing with your business, purchase order person, something that they're pretty much the same thing as a salesman. They're a smoothing kind of person that they can talk people into doing things that they need done. Going to customers, finding customers, getting leads, that type of thing. Every business has a person like that. They're just called different names. So you have to have that person. Now, any questions that anybody have for me about anything I just said, you just come on into the chat room here at WPIMP Radio on Spreaker.com, and I will answer your questions. This will probably end up being a 5-parter because it's a lot. It's a lot to it. But I am here to answer your questions or anything you want to know about anything I just said. I will even help you find a service in your area that does what I just told you. So make sure you tune into all these different segments because they each will have some jewels in it of something you can do to start your business and make it successful. So until next time, people, like and share all our content, as I will be giving these jewels away here and there on a regular basis. So make sure you tune in and tell anybody that's interested in thinking about doing what we're talking about. Once again, go to Spreaker.com, look for WPIMP Radio, find The King Kane Show, and click on the little button to go into the chat room, and I will answer your questions. Even if you answer after I've done doing this live feed, you ask a question after I do this live feed, I'm sorry, I could still see it and still talk about it on the next show. Whatever questions you got, make sure you tune in. I will try to put up when I'm doing one of these shows so you would know ahead of time so you can come and ask questions. So, until next time, good people, remember everything that I said, and your research should start now.